Hi friends, today we're going to talk about lights in art, how different artists and people have used light over the years to make things beautiful. People have been fascinated by light for thousands of years, like the aurora borealis, the northern lights you see in this video, or how the sun would rise and set. So let me show you some artists who use light in their art. This is a Kansas City artist named Dylan Mortimer, and Mr. Mortimer is fascinated by light. You'll see in another picture an installation that he had in a museum where he uses light to make people sort of the centerpiece of a work of art. I love this installation, this gallery that shows three of Mr. Mortimer's works of art. You can see in each image where it looks like a person is supposed to be standing in front of it. And in fact, that's true. The idea is that it was interactive. You would stand in front and sort of look like you were illuminated by the art. This is a different artist named Leo Villarreal. And unlike Mr. Mortimer's images, where the person was supposed to be framed by the art, this art would move and the lights would pulse. That one in the background that has white dots, that would kind of move and change. The LED lights would sort of pulse. This last artist is named Mark Cowarden, and you can see how Mr. Cowarden, who is a Kansas City artist, has used lights in a different way. He's actually using lights as part of this installation. Some of the lights are supposed to look like roots, and then some of the lights are supposed to look like they're growing out of that tree in the middle of that work of art. It's a really big work of art. The sculpture itself takes up the whole room. It's pretty cool. So, besides artists, what are some other ways that people use lights to make things special or stand out? Different religions use lights in the form of candles to celebrate different parts of their religion. If you're Jewish, you might be lighting a menorah, and you could also be lighting an Advent wreath. This time of year, tons of people put lights on trees, houses, and buildings all over Kansas City. Do you recognize these lights? These lights are in downtown Kansas City in a special place called the Plaza. The Plaza has been around since about the 1920s and is special just to Kansas City. They have been lighting the buildings on the Plaza for a long time. And in fact, it might be a tradition in your family to go down and watch the Plaza lights get turned on. The plaza has some really unique architecture. The buildings are based on some other buildings in a part of the world called Seville, Spain. So those towers were inspired by buildings in Spain. They're really unique to Kansas City. And today, I want you to try your hand at drawing some of those awesome towers, those iconic buildings from Kansas City. Once you've drawn your towers, we'll even add some lights, just like you see here. All right, let's get started. You'll be using a white colored pencil on a big piece of gray paper. You'll also have one of these reference sheets. You can pick which tower you would like to draw. And even though they look sort of complicated, all they have is shapes. If you can identify the different shapes, that's going to make it so easy. So you're going to see I'm going to start by drawing some guidelines, some shapes that will help me know where I can put the rest of the things. I'm going to identify where that circle clock might go, or the arches that go under the clock. An arch is just simply a rectangle with a rounded top. All of these shapes are easy, and I know you can totally draw them. Sideways rectangles, arches, squares. You can see I'm just blocking in some basic shapes before I add all of the details. A quick warning about sharpening your colored pencil, which you will definitely have to do. Just sharpen a little bit at a time. These are expensive colored pencils because they have a lot of white pigment in them. So don't sharpen, 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 sharpen. Just sharpen a little, and a little bit at a time is great. I'm really using those reference sheets a lot. I'm going back and forth and looking at all of the details. But don't worry, friends, this doesn't have to be perfect. If you mess up, no worries. Just turn it over and start again. These colored pencils won't erase, but that's okay. Just keep going. All I want you to do is try your best. You can see I go back and forth to the reference a whole lot to give myself an idea of what part of the tower or towers I've decided to draw I'm doing. I'm going to speed this up so you can watch how I finished it. At the very end, we're going to use silver Sharpies to add some light dots. Once I've got it mostly the way I like it, I'm going to ask for a silver Sharpie and put silver Sharpie dots all around it. Just like the Plaza lights have all those really cool dots, I'm going on the outside of my building with a silver Sharpie. If you finish early, awesome! We've got more black paper you can use to make a different tower.